That was a big song, wasn't it? Anyway, let's see if we can do this, shall we?
On this episode, I talk a load of politics.
Politics is...
I'm a poet, and I did not know it.
A person convinced against his will is of the same opinion still.
And I don't have the answer.
And unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that one. They say there are 3 things you should never talk about. 1, money. Too late, already done that. 2, religion. We'll put that on the back burner. And 3, politics. And yes, you've guessed it from the title of this video, I am going to talk about politics. Blah, blah, blah. And with that in mind, today's video is sponsored by my new t-shirt, I reject your reality and substitute it with my own. Which you can get in the description down below if you follow the link. As I gasp for breath because I have got a cold and I'm dying at the same time. And I can't see bugger all because the sun is so bright. Hello. And I got roundabouts to deal with. Oh shit. That was a bit harsh. Okay, the problem with politics is that it's all very very subjective because we all see the world differently and we all experience the world differently. For example, a positive person will always have a solution to a problem, whereas a negative person will always have a problem for every solution. And currently in the UK we are in political turmoil. We have just gone through the BREXIT referendum, which to be honest we have no idea what's going to happen and how it's going to affect us. All we can do is speculate. Now we're going through de-evolvement of central government to local government. Basically on the 4th of May we get to vote for a mayor who will get paid to oversee how the money that we send to the central government, which is then divvied up and sent back to local government, is spent. Forgive me if I'm missing something, but isn't that the job of the council CEO? Are we really going to be paying somebody to do a job which somebody's already doing? So not only is politics very subjective, it's also very confusing, and it's a very hard subject to cover, especially if you don't want to offend people. And I can guarantee, even being the most diplomatic person I can be, I'm still going to offend people. It's the way it goes. Now I've had the pleasure, if you can call it pleasure, of living through 2 Labour governments and 2 Conservative governments. Yes, I know one of these was a coalition, but here's the thing, I could talk until I'm blue in the face about what was good and what was bad about each period of time. There is no denying that each government has good and bad ideas. But everything I would say is from my own opinion, my own experiences and my own views. I could back everything up I wanted to say about each period with facts gleaned from the internet, but again this would be bias. I would only back up my views and my opinions, and I'm sure that somebody who had differing opinions would and could provide evidence and facts that would prove me wrong. Now I also work for the NHS, which is a political hot potato and a completely different topic altogether. But a lot of the people I work with are very staunch Labour Party supporters, and these are the same kind of people who would like all the wealth to be shared equally. Again, this is a subject on its own terms. But even with a well thought out and balanced debate, the likelihood of these people changing their views is very small. Why? Well, it's very simple. A person convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And yes, I'm a poet. Now in Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, he actually has a chapter called You Can't Win an Argument, which is true, you can't, because if you lose it, well, you lose it. And if you win it, well, again, you lose it. Why? Well, suppose you triumph over the other person and prove their argument wrong. You'll feel fine, but they will feel inferior, and they will resent you for it. We can already see this in the current culture after the Brexit referendum, where we have those who voted to stay and lost arguing with those who voted to leave. And in order to justify their anger at losing, it's easy for them to descend to calling people racists, fascists and xenophobes, purely because they cannot understand that people may have other motives and opinions and they feel inferior. Just recently on Twitter, the subject of the general election was brought up, and of course, in an ideal world, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But as recent events shows, not just in the UK but also in America, people are struggling with the idea that other people have differing opinions. And it is causing some tense issues. We have people who want to get rid of the Conservative government because of what Mrs Thatcher did in the 1980s. And some want to get rid of the Conservative based on the fact that they just don't like the Conservatives. And some because they are staunch Labour supporters, and some because they think it will affect the referendum and stop Brexit from happening. There are probably a lot of other reasons as well too. One thing is clear, or at least clear to me, and I would love to hear your views on this, because let's face it, I can't talk about politics and opinions and then say you're not entitled to yours, because that would be very hypocritical, and I don't like hypocrites. So let me know your views, let me know your feelings about this. Send them, put them in the comment section below, and let's see if we can have a proper debate about something, shall we? So the next general election is going to be one based on people's fears, emotions and tactical voting. Instead of what is best for the country. But what is best for the country? Well, again, everyone has differing opinions, and it's at this point I'd like to remember something that John Fitzgerald Kennedy said. And it's ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country. As a society, not just in the UK but in the world, we have a unique ability to blame others for our problems. People like the government, or society, or everybody in anything other than ourselves. So what is the solution? Well, that's a very good question. And unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that one. In England, we currently have two main parties. The Conservatives, who, let's face it, are more loathed than the Galactic Empire, and the Labour Party, who actually make The Simpsons look functional. Then we have a scattering of smaller parties, some more scarier than others. To be truthful, I don't know what the answer is. This is my opinion, and you may disagree with it, but I do believe that the political landscape needs a good shaking up. And I don't think the main parties are capable of doing this, because again, in my opinion, they're only there for their own personal gains, and not for the country's best interests. I do think that, as someone on YouTube, I should encourage people to vote, especially the young people. But I don't think it's right I should force my opinions as to what party to vote for. What I think people should do is leave all emotions and preconceived ideas behind. The mind is a wonderful thing, and like a parachute, works best when it's open. Don't follow other people just for the sake of following other people. And remember, everybody is entitled to their own thoughts and opinions, and we must start to recognise this. Otherwise, we are heading for a very slippery slope. And if the result on the 8th of June doesn't go the way you want, be an adult and just accept that other people with other ideas and opinions had made their choice. Remember, if you judge a fish's intelligence by its ability to climb a tree, it will forever remain stupid. And if you judge your friends based on who and why they voted, then what you're doing is just rejecting their reality and substituting it with your own. Hi guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications, which is somewhere in the top right hand corner. Don't forget you can stalk me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook and interact with me on Instagram. And I would really love to hear your views about the next general election. Even if you're not in the UK. If you're in America, it'd be interesting to hear your views about your previous general election, whatever you call it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will catch you on Saturday with another video. Cheerio, goodbye, and arrivederci. Oh, I've been indicating all the way down there. Whoops.